just pin this to the top and we should get started. So welcome everyone. Close that out. It's officially day 3. There we go. Pin this to feature it, and then let me pin this to the top so it's discoverable. Okay, there we go. All right, so welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever you're joining us from. We have a couple of people here. We have Mackenzie, Michelle, and Renata. So today we're literally just going to go over creating your lead funnel, and this is the process. It's literally the process that's going to take someone from, hey, being a visitor to eventually becoming a lead, right? We're going to give you some templates, right? And then and after that, we're going to come up with what are we going to say on these actual pages, so that when someone actually lands on these pages, they know exactly what your offer is, what problem you're solving. It's very clear to them, and then they can give you their name and email, and then hopefully become a lead, right? Now, if you're joining us on Facebook, you know, right above the video is a link. You can definitely come on to Zoom if you'd like to ask your questions on the Zoom side. There's a link, and also right below the video, there's also the link where you can definitely come in and join us on the Zoom side. Hey, Michelle, welcome. So any questions before we get started? Any questions before we get started? Mackenzie, Michelle, and Renata, any questions? Any questions? And hopefully my chat is, I know Zoom did an update, all good. Okay, fantastic. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to dive into today's one pager, what to expect. And then after that, if you have any questions or something's unclear, you could definitely ask me questions after that, right? There'll be plenty of time. So the first thing, there's just a couple of things that we have to do, right? The first thing is, if you haven't signed up for the trial, make sure you sign up for the trial. Actually, because you're part of this program, you automatically get 30 days, right? Because of being a part of this program, you automatically get 30 days of free trial, you know. So I would first make sure you sign up for ClickFunnels, because, hey, the templates won't work if you don't have an account with ClickFunnels. So the first thing, make sure you sign up for ClickFunnels, and then the second thing is, make sure you also, Jim Edwards is the guy that actually owns this software called FunnelScripts. And FunnelScripts it's literally to help you come up with exactly the words that you're going to say. Because one of the biggest challenges when you actually create your funnel is coming with the words that you're going to say that's literally going to communicate your intent, communicate the value, communicate what the offer is, what are you offering, what's the lead magnet that you're giving away, you know, so that this person can give you their name and email and become a lead, right? And a lot of people, that's challenging, you know, getting into the mind of your prospect and addressing and eloquently, like, communicating exactly what the challenges are, what problem you're solving, so that they can actually give you their name and email. So Jim Edwards has actually provided, there's a premium version, but he's provided a free version, right, of this software called FunnelScripts. And FunnelScripts, we'll briefly go over it. It'll really cut down the time as far as coming up with exactly what to say, right? Because, yeah, plenty of times, hey, you know, communication is a challenge. Like, you could easily believe you're communicating what it is that you want to come through, but, you know, somewhere something is lost in translation, right? So this software will really help you with that. And all these scripts are free, right? All these scripts are available to you. But the one we're going to be focusing on is the lead capture script, right? That's the one for this one pager. We're going to be focusing on the lead capture script. And then in addition to that, Russell's provided 6 different templates, right? So you have a selection of 6 different templates. It doesn't matter which one you pick, right? You can pick all of them. Some people pick all of them, and they're all pretty much the same. The variation, there'll be slight variations. Maybe instead of the image being on the left, it's on the right. The opt-in where you give their name and emails on the left or on the right. So it doesn't really matter. They all serve the same purpose. And it's literally 3 pages, right? You have your promise page. I call it the lead page, where actually you make the promise, right? Then there's a thank you page, thanking them for taking that step and delivering the actual lead magnet. And then you have a third page that's called the privacy policy. And the privacy policy, the job of the privacy policy is really to protect you, right? So that you don't get into litigation, or someone downloads your lead magnet, finds loopholes, and then comes back and sues you because they didn't get the result, or they didn't put in the effort, and then now they're holding you liable, because of the promises you made. So the privacy policy is there primarily to protect you, right? To protect you so that you don't get any form of litigation. So Cliff, welcome Cliff. Where do I get the free funnel script? So funnel scripts, it's actually on the template, on the one pager. So if you go to the one pager, tool number 2, so there's tool number 1, which is ClickFunnels. Hopefully you don't go through this one, because this only gives you 14 days, versus if you actually just being part of this program, you automatically get 30 days, right? If you haven't signed up, everyone should have signed up at the time when you actually started this challenge. You should have signed up for the 30-day trial, right? If you sign up through this one page, it'll only give you 14 days. When just being part of this program, you're entitled to get 30 days, right? And then for the funnel scripts, all you have to do is just click on the logo, funnel scripts logo, and then that will take you here. And then this is where you literally go in and create your account. Does that make sense, Cliff? Welcome, Cliff. Let me see, I gotta add a couple of people. Oh yeah, we have Angie here, we have Cliff. Welcome, Cliff. Mackenzie is here too. Suzanne, welcome. Tamara, welcome. Wade Records is here too. Welcome. So yeah, any questions? Any questions before we move forward, as far as what you need to be able to actually do to actually accomplish this one pager?
Real quick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Cliff. How are you? Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today's my first day on the training. I've been, so the one pager, I would go and get them. I guess they're in my funnel, in my back office on the ClickFunnels.
Yeah, so I'll show you exactly where to get it.
Oh,
right?
or they're on the June 25th Facebook page. Okay.
Right, yeah. So above every one of Russell's training, right? His training videos, and you can catch the training videos in the guides if you missed them for the replays, right? So above every one of Russell's training videos, right on the top, they should be the link. So this is where Russell's training videos are. So right above the video, there should be a link where there's a link to the one pager. So every one of the videos, right on the top, there's the link to the one pager for that day. Right?
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So that's how you can find them. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, welcome Tamara. Glad to have you here. So yeah, so these are it's just literally three things, right? The first thing you'll need, actually it's 2 things. You need the ClickFunnels account, right? And then you definitely need funnel scripts, because and like I said, funnel scripts is literally going to cut down your composition time of what you're going to say in literally half the time, probably even less, right? Because plenty of times the biggest challenge is not even what you're offering as a lead magnet. The bigger challenge is articulating it in a way that the person who actually lands on your page immediately sees the value, right? That's probably a bigger challenge, because plenty of times we have things that can actually make a difference to the people that we're serving. But sometimes if we're not articulating it right and they're not getting really what the value is, then there's a mismatch, and most likely you're not getting those leads because you're not articulating the value of what you're providing eloquently. All right, and then of course we're giving you these templates, right? We're giving you all 6 templates. You can download all of them, or you can just pick one. It's completely it's discretionary, right? There's no oh, you have to pick this one or pick that one. That's why Russell gives you 6 of them, so you can pick any one of them, right? And the way to download these templates, all you have to do is just click on it. make sure you're logged in to your ClickFunnels account. If not, it'll automatically log you in. And then once you're logged in, I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Usually it doesn't take this long. All you have to do is just click on it, and then you'll see a little pop-up saying, hey, you know, it's bringing you to your ClickFunnels account, and then it'll add it to your ClickFunnels account. I'm not sure why it's taking this long. Let me try it again. Let me try any one of these. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so click any one of them, and then I have 2 ClickFunnels accounts, so you probably just have one. And what will happen is you'll see copy of whatever funnel you picked, and then it'll load. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. You know, actually 5 minutes is a long time. It'll take less than 5 minutes, and then once it loads, right, you'll see this progress bar, and then now you can go in and you can view the funnel, right? The funnel is literally 3 pages, like I said. It's the squeeze page. I call it the promise page, because this is where you're literally making the promise. Hey, what are you going to get? What problem are you solving? Who is it for, right? Who is your target lead? Who do you want to come in, and who do you not want to come in, right? Who do you want to attract, and who do you want to repel? And then the thank you page is literally where you do the delivery, right? This is where you give the promise. This is where you deliver on the promise. And then finally, there's a privacy policy. Like I said earlier, the purpose of the privacy policy is so that you protect yourself, right, against any kind of litigation. So Angie's asking, do I have to upload the video from yesterday's one pager to be able to do today's? No, you don't. You don't. You know, you don't. Because remember that, how you're going to deliver that. So I'm assuming your lead magnet is a video. Is that correct, Angie? Are you giving away a video? And you can unmute. You have the mic. If it's faster, just respond using the mic. Angie, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so that is probably, yeah, so that video you're going to give away as your lead magnet, and you can put it on the thank you page. You can put it into, you could definitely email it. We'll be covering email tomorrow, but so you don't have to have completed that to be able to do today's assignment, right? Today's assignment is literally so yesterday you were working on the deliverable, what you're going to give away, right? We call them assets or deliverables. And then today what we're focusing on, we're literally focusing on the process, how you're going to get someone to the deliverables. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Angie? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so today we're focusing on the process. So the 2 mutually exclusive events. Yesterday was the deliverable. Today is literally the process by which you're going to take someone from, hey, you're becoming a lead, to let me deliver on the thing that you signed up for. So so the squeeze page, right? The squeeze page. This is the first page, and this is literally where you're going to make the promise, right? Great squeeze pages or landing pages, you'll hear them interchangeably being called as squeeze pages or landing pages, or, you know, yeah, squeeze pages or landing pages most of the times, right? And literally this squeeze page this headline is probably the piece that carries the most weight, right? Because people are going to make a decision basically based on what you say on this headline, you know, and they're going to literally make that decision based on them seeing, hey, is this thing going to increase their status? Is it valuable based on a result that they desire, right? Is it going to help them, or is it going to take away from them? So a couple of key things I would say about your headline. It has to be crystal clear, right? If it's not making sense, or you're pumping too much curiosity in your headline such that it's way too curious that people can't even make head or tail exactly what problem you're solving, right? Then you've lost them. Remember, people say attention spans have dwindled, but really attention spans have now become extremely selective, right? Whereby people are more impatient with their attention, right? Really, really impatient with their attention than ever before. And the reason is because they're being bombarded with a lot of messages, right? Being bombarded with a lot of messages. So clarity of your message. What problem are you solving? Who is it for, right? Who is it for? And then the third part is, what is the payoff? right? If you can squeeze that in your headline, like very quickly, someone knows, hey, who is this for? Is it for me? What problem are you really solving? What solution are you giving away, right? And what's the payoff? Very quickly, that's what they want to see. Remember, people are very unforgiving with their time, right? If it's not making sense, they're gone, right? So that's the first thing, right? The first thing is really nail down the hook point. Who hook them in? What problem are you solving? Who is it for? And what's the payoff, right? And then, of course, you want to have an image of the lead magnet. And the image is like an enticing factor, right? An enticing factor so that they can see, they can visually have, especially because we're in the digital space, right? We're in the digital space, so if you can give them something that they can see visually, you don't have to give them the lead, you don't have to put the lead magnet here, but you're at least, you're dangling the payoff so that they can see it, the tangibility aspect of it. That would be fantastic, right? You can even blur some of the things that are on the actual lead magnet. That would be fantastic. And I'll show you a place where you can literally create these lead magnets, right? The place that I use, which is free, and you can design really great looking lead magnets, right? So you want to have an image of it. And then the third thing you really want to do is you want to tell them exactly what they need to do to get a hold of that lead magnet, right? Sometimes we leave things to chance and we believe that, oh, it should be obvious that our visitor will automatically know that this is where they need to put in their email and get the lead magnet, but it's not obvious. There's something happens online where you literally have to, you can't leave things to chance, your communication to chance. You have to be very specific and tell people exactly what you want them to do. Otherwise, if you skip out this step of put in your email here, right, it may be obvious, but you skipping that step could be the reason why you're not converting your leads. You're not converting your visitors into leads, right? So make sure you're very specific, like have a very specific call to action. As you can see, there's an arrow already pointing to, hey, where they need to take their attention so that they can complete the sole purpose they are on this page, right? Which is to give you their name and email. And then, so this first half, we call it, this is a prime real estate, right? This is the prime real estate. And what I mean by prime real estate is that this is the 80-20 of the page, right? This is where most people will land on and will make a decision based on what's on the first half of this page. It's the prime real estate, right? It's amazing and mind-boggling that I see people having the most prolific information that will help the lead, the visitor become a lead down at the bottom. And most people don't scroll unless they actually have a good, compelling reason, right? So you want to make sure you put your very best hooks, your best stuff on the first half, right? So that now the only people who are going to scroll down, these are more the left brain people, right? The people who need more context. They need to understand why or how or what are they really getting, right? But for the most part, the people who are going to make the emotional commitment are literally going to be looking at the first half. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone? As far as the layout of this page and why we want to definitely have the most compelling part on the very top. Who is it for? What's the payoff, right? What they need to do, right? And then the bottom half is literally to address, okay, for those other people who are kind of on the fence, you know, they need more context, right? They need to understand, how does this thing work? What is it not? Or what is it, right? They really need that context. So for those people, you can give them a meal down here, right? This is where you feed them with all that information. But for the most part, most of the people, you know, especially if it resonates with the pain point that they have, they'll make a decision real quick by what's on the first half. Now, how can you come up with this, what to say in half the time, right? That's what funnel scripts is for, right? So funnel scripts will really help you come up and cut down the time so you don't have to sit there and wonder, hey, is this a compelling headline? Did I say it right? Does it sound right, right? Is this making sense, right? So you use funnel scripts and literally it's a fill in the blank. So it's so Jim actually put together this this template, and it's literally probing you to literally answer these questions. And after you answer these questions, all you have to do is click on build, and it literally gives you all the copy meaning what you're going to say. And literally it's a copy and paste job. Now all you have to do is copy it and paste it on the actual template, right? And the beauty about going through this exercise is that if you have holes in your thinking or in your offer, in your lead magnet, like if there's any lack of clarity, this will really expose it, right? And it will force you to have to go in and start really thinking critically. Hey, who's my dream customer? You know, am I coming up with the right offer? Is this really the thing that I'm giving? What am I really giving them? What problem am I really solving? So just by answering these questions, it'll really add that clarity, right? So, and all you have to do is asking those probing questions. Hey, what is your avatar's current identity, right? And if you don't know what that question means, right below there's some help, right? Currently my ideal customer is A, you know. So, and then he gives you examples: struggling part-time writer, beginner investor. Like, what is the identity of your dream customer? Fill it in. What is your avatar's current identity? Plural, and this means collectively, right? Real estate agents. If real estate agent was here in singular, and now down here it'll be plural. And literally he gives you all these examples. And if you'd like to see some of these examples, right, he's done a whole bunch of different examples for different markets. So let's say you're in the real estate market, you can definitely pick that, and you'll see it's been pre-filled, right? And these are just examples, right? And then all you have to do is just go in and click build. I think there's a part where you have to fill out what is the number one result your avatar wants. Maybe they want to get more real estate listings, right? They want to get more real estate listings. That's what my avatar really wants. He's a real estate agent. What is the number one pain your avatar can avoid? He wants to avoid cold calling and door knocking. That's what he really wants to avoid, right? The archaic methods of marketing. So now once we fill that out, all we have to do is just click on build, right? And now you see it does it for you, right? How to make 6 figures a year. You know, you just copy that and that's your title, right? Enter your best email. So all you do is just copy this, and it'll tell you, all you have to do is just click on copy. It'll copy that, and then you go into your editor, right? You go into your editor, and now you just paste it in there, right? So you come here, this is our title. Make sure you highlight this, right? And then right click, there we go, and then just paste. And we can remove lead magnet title because we don't want them to come in. We don't want our visitors to come and read lead magnet title, right? We want them to read what is the hook, right? How to make 6 figures a year. But and you can spruce it up too, right? Maybe how to make 6 figures a year is still pretty plain. Doesn't have a lot of context, right? We could go in and add a little bit of context, how to make 6 figures a year as a real estate agent without door knocking and cold calling. You see what I mean? That adds a little bit of context. And then we can go in, copy this. This will go right above where they have to put in their name and email. So again, we'll go in, highlight that, make sure it's in the blue, and then paste, right? And then that replaces that. And then there's the bullet points, right? So literally this literally does the job for you, right? Oh yeah, there you go. So you see these are all different, different headlines. Proven type of lead magnet reveals how I can get more real estate listings in one evening, and you can too. So there's it'll give you different variations, right? But literally by using this script, it cuts down the time that you have to sit down and try and get creative, right? And then come up with something that's not even communicating the essence of what it is that you want your lead to actually get. Is this making sense? Is it possible to change the language of the tool? Great question. This tool is only it's only in English for now, but what you can do is once you get all your copy, right, you can definitely take it to one of those Google translators, right? And then you can paste it in there and then change the language. That will probably be the fastest way. Just copy everything. Once it gives you everything that you're supposed to say, you can go in and then you can definitely copy it. You can paste it in there. So is this making sense so far? As far as how to create the page? Correct. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, so that's the first page, right? Yeah, so yeah, this tool is godsend, right? It literally cut down your time, right? Because one of the things that there's nothing that scares me like staring at a blank page. I've sat um, hours, you're sitting on looking at staring at a blank page, and your fingers are on the keyboard, and you start typing and then you delete, and then you start typing and then you delete, and this can go on for weeks and days, right? So yeah, definitely it is God sent. So that will take care of your lead magnet. And remember, like when you're doing your edits, remember to save as many times as possible. That way, if something happens, you can always you have a saved copy, right? So just think of it like this is an editor. So make sure after you paste everything, make sure you save, right? Make sure you just save as frequently as possible. So the next step is the thank you page. So the squeeze page, the next step is the thank you page. And the thank you page is where you do your deliverables, right? This is where you tell them, hey, thanks for signing up. You can download your thing here, right? I recommend that you send whatever lead magnet via email, and we'll be covering email tomorrow. And the reason why I recommend you send it via email is because people have a propensity of just giving you a terrible email. Not everyone, but some people just give you a bad email because they just want to get to the price, get to the lead magnet, and then after that they don't want anything to do with you, right? But by you actually emailing it to them, twofold. Here's the advantage. The first one is that you're forcing them to have to give you a correct email, right? So in there's some quality assurance. You're literally forcing them to have to give you a legitimate email because you're sending the lead magnet via email. So that's the first one. Guess what the second advantage is of sending it via email? Can anyone take a guess what the second advantage is of why we would like to deliver the lead magnet via email and not put it on the thank you page? Building the database, great. Anyone else? Deliverability. Someone nailed it. There you go. So you also want to start getting them into the habit of opening up your emails, right? And guess which email they're going to hunt for, right? The one that has the thing that they want, right? And if you get them into the habit of opening your emails, right, now you've already set the stage. Now the second email and the third email and the fourth email will be easier, deliverability, because now you've built an expectation. You have history, right? Versus, hey, you don't send it via email. You have their email address. You don't have your email follow-up sequence ready. And then this person is in your list, and you haven't sent anything for a while, and they're getting colder and colder by the minute, right? So the main reason you want to send this lead magnet via email is twofold. One, you're forcing them to give you the correct email, which is quality assurance in itself baked in. But the second reason is because you want to start creating that habit, right, of deliverability. They're going to hunt for this email. It has their package. It has their It has their lead magnet, right? So if it goes to spam, guess what? They'll be hunting for it in spam because they're really fired up to get this lead magnet, right? So by you sending it to them, now you're setting the precedence of, hey, how you're going to be communicating using the email channel. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Fantastic. Yeah, so I mean it's totally discretionary. Some people will have the lead magnet on the thank you page. I recommend, hey, send it to them via email and let them know, hey, thanks for signing up. That lead magnet that you signed up for, it's It's literally in your inbox. If you go to your inbox, go check it out. If it's not in there, the first thing I want you to do is make sure you save me as a contact so that we can avoid you missing out on value, because all the value is going to your spam folder. So the first thing, if I'm not in your inbox, make sure you make sure you hedge against future mishaps of my emails going to your spam email or spam folder. So go find it. It most likely is in your spam folder. Check the spam folder. If you find it there, add me to your contacts. That way you can get the value, without you having to find the value in your spam folder randomly. Okay, so can you show again where to go to the build button? Or you mean for funnel scripts? For funnel scripts, are you referring to funnel scripts? Okay. Yeah, so funnel scripts, you'll go in, let's see, where was I? There we go. So you'll go in and you'll just literally start typing. The build button is right above, right? So as you're building, as you're typing in, filling out the blanks, the build button is right there. It's I think it's one of those that moves as you scroll. It's stationary, so as you scroll, it's still there. And then once you complete filling out your blanks, all you have to do is just click on build, and that's how it comes up with everything, all your deliverables. Does that make sense? Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Mackenzie. So the other place that, because I know, like, hey, some people like, hey, it's really hard to actually build a lead magnet on the one pager. I'll give you a place where I love this place, right? It's called Canva. And Canva.com is a site that was created for people that have design. They have design jobs but are not designers, and probably don't want to hire a designer, especially if it's something that they can make really quick, right? So Canva is a great place to come in and create these lead magnets, the things that you're going to give away. As you can see, I've created, I used to give away this lead magnet. Funny thing, it was called a lead magnet test. Like, how do you know you have a really great lead magnet? So yeah, so you come in and create your lead magnet, and then all you have to do is just download it, right? Download it, and you can definitely attach it to your emails, right? You can get the link, attach it to, you can upload it to like a Google Drive, and then get the Google Drive and put it in your emails, right? So that now when people sign up, they can literally click on the link within the email and then go to the lead magnet. So yeah, so I love Canva. It's a free tool, right? And it has like so many examples, really neat examples, and you can pick any one of them, right? Pick any one of them. Some of them they charge, right? It's a freemium kind of tool. So what they do is, they have, it's free, but then they have templates there that you can buy if you want to, and they're not expensive. Most of them are about 99 cents. So you could definitely go in and pick any one of these templates. They have a whole bunch of different types of templates, right? Like I said, it's a tool that was actually created for people who want to get design work done but are not actual designers. You can build them for free, but you can find people who created templates for your niche. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, you could definitely build them out, or you can find someone. You could definitely hire people too. There's a place you can hire them: Fiverr.com, Upwork, Guru.com. So all those are sites you can hire people. But for as far as the lead magnet, I wouldn't spend, because hey, you can just create a lead magnet really quick. Infographics are great lead magnets. PowerPoints, posters. You see what I mean? A4 document, graphs. So a lead magnet. Remember, the lead magnet. I think sometimes people usually spend so much time on, hey, the lead magnet and the design of the lead magnet, when the real value is not on the design or the deliverability of the lead magnet. The real value is on the content of the lead magnet. I've seen people even write their lead magnets out on a napkin, right? And it wasn't the napkin that was the actual lead magnet. The lead magnet was the content that was on the napkin. That's where the value was, right? If you have something, if let's say I have a cure for cancer and I can put it on a napkin, right? Would people sign up for that? Absolutely, because it's really has a high perceived value. So it's not necessarily the deliverable, right? You could even write it on a cup, right? And give that away as a lead magnet. So one key thing to remember is focus more on what is the deliverable over the mechanism of how you're delivering it, right? The mechanism, yes, is important. Hey, is it a video? Is it a one sheet page, right? Is it is it an ebook? Of course, ebook sounds like, hey, now it's work. Someone has to find the time to read an ebook. Is that a great lead magnet? Again, it depends. It depends on your market, right? But you want, like, actually, we can even touch on that. What makes a lead magnet? What are some of the characteristics of a great lead magnet, right? Some of the characteristics of a great lead magnet are, one, it has to be specific, right? Is it specific enough where it's actually addressing a desire that your dream customer has? The second thing, is it timely, right? No one wants a solution to a problem they haven't encountered or a problem they encountered already, right? The third thing, is it a momentum builder? Meaning, does it stop them? Meaning, before they consume, is it going to get them feeling bloated because you've given them so much information? Or are you going to give them the one thing that they need to move forward, to take a step forward, right? Or are you going to give them, a whole entire course, and then they're like, I have to find time for implementation. So it has to build momentum. And the way you build momentum, again, it's tied back into the specificity. Break it down into the one thing that they need right now, right? And then finally, it has to be edible now, meaning it should be something that they can consume in less than 10 minutes, right? If it has to take more than 10 minutes, now they go into that state of overwhelm where they're feeling like, I got to find the time to consume this lead magnet, right? Before I can get the value, right? So the edibility aspect of your lead magnet is lacking. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I would say these are the characteristics. After having looked at so many different lead magnets, the ones that actually get a lot of traction usually have, at some level, these four key elements, right? Timeliness, momentum builder, edible, meaning, hey, it's quickly consumable, right? And consumption, not like eating, but consumption as far as they can quickly go through it. If it's a 5-minute video, they can watch it and get the big aha moment, right? If it's a blueprint, they can literally look at it and they know exactly what they need to do to implement, right? And then of course it has to be specific. So I would say start putting more of these in mind when you're actually building out, start factoring in these characteristics when you're actually building out your lead magnet. So, Tamara has a question: how often should a lead magnet change, such as monthly health themes? So a lead magnet's supposed to capture people who are at a very specific place in that journey. So I wouldn't change a lead magnet. I'll probably create multiple different types of lead magnets to address the different segments or the different levels of awareness of the marketplace, right? Because, hey, that lead magnet's supposed to, if you create a great lead magnet, it's supposed to be perennial, right? It's supposed to be ongoing, because there's always going to be a couple of people who are either starting out at the journey of that lead magnet or at the point where that lead magnet does the trick for them. So that would continue working, it would continue working. And then what you would do is, if you notice, a lot of people are probably having this question, now you can create a secondary lead magnet. So the way to look at lead magnets is think of them like streams feeding a river, right? So all these streams are actually feeding a river, and then the river is your back end. What are you offering? What is your bread and butter solution, your signature offer that is now going to make a difference, right? Remember, the lead magnet is more like an appetizer, right? Think of it like you're going to the mall and there's there's someone walking around with meat on like a toothpick, and they're giving away those appetizers. That's a lead magnet, right? Because once you gobble one of them, now you'll determine whether you have the appetite to go and buy the meal, right? Literally, that's literally a funnel right there, right? It's a value ladder. They start by giving you a little appetizer to kind of ignite the fire in your taste buds, and then later on, they get to welcome you to actually come and buy the main meal. So Wade has a question. So a class as a lead magnet needs to be short and not a full. Yeah, I wouldn't do 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes is a little bit too long, right? And especially, when we're creating these lead magnets, most of the time we're going to be targeting a cold market, meaning they don't really know you. So for them to invest 60 minutes, that's 1 hour. You're asking someone to invest an hour. So either it has to be extremely interesting, right? Whereby they're sitting there and they can watch it for 1 hour, right? Or just really cut it down, right? I wouldn't go for an hour, especially for a lead magnet, because that's asking too much too soon from your dream customer. Like, trickle it down. I would probably splinter it up and give them 5 to 10 minutes is great. 5 to 10 minutes, and then get them to either purchase if it's really valuable. You can get them to purchase the rest of the 40 minutes, right? Or 50 minutes. Say, hey, if you loved it, this was only a fraction, and hopefully you loved it and got the value from it. But if you want to continue on the journey, we have the entire whatever presentation, which now goes into more depth, covering this, that, and the third. Does that make sense, Wade?
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. Awesome. So you can pick any one of these templates, all of them if you want to. I had someone actually download all the templates, so you're completely at liberty to pick any one of these templates, right? And then, of course, you want to use the script, right? The niche and offer detective if you're still unclear on who your dream customer is and what market you're going after. And then, of course, the avatar, because those things will really, like, if you're still fuzzy on your niche and what niche or what your offer, what you're giving away, or your avatar, the lead magnet will amplify. It'll amplify the lack of clarity, right? So it's really important you get really clear on who your dream customer is, where's the hole, meaning where's the gap, right? Where's the gap between where they are and where they'd like to go, and then come up with a fantastic lead magnet, and then it's easier. Like, once you understand the story that your dream customer has, coming up with these lead magnets is becomes much easier. And remember, like, people are always they're on a journey, right? Don't make it into a product. Don't productize your lead magnet. Think of it like a journey, right? And what I mean by that is, hey, this is one piece of it, and that opens them up to the next piece, which is the offer that you're going to be selling, right? And it feels like so congruent, right? It doesn't, in fact, they'll enjoy that you took the time to actually create this experience, right? Because it's so congruent with how they want to be sold to, because you really did put in some thought. Think of it like you're going to a 5-star restaurant, right? And at the minute you walk in, imagine if they start giving you the main course, or they start with dessert, like, it's completely out of sync, right? But if they come in, they first give you, they give you something to kind of, something to warm you up, warm your taste buds, maybe a salad or soup or bun, and then later on they come with the main course. So it's literally the experience, and it's all thought of, right? So don't just like randomly just come up with a lead magnet that you just want to give away. Think of it strategically, like, how is this lead magnet going to tie in to this journey that you're taking this dream customer from their health state? Imagine they're in their health state right now and you're trying to get them to heaven. What will that journey look like? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great question. All right, so privacy policy. So where do you come up with what to say on this privacy policy. So there's we have a tool, right? If you go to ClickFunnels, and I'll give you the link. Don't worry if you don't get all these links, no worries. I'll put them in the show notes, right? So ClickFunnels, ClickFunnels.com. I believe it's business-tools. Yeah, there we go. So ClickFunnels.com/business-tools. That will bring you here, and then now you can use the privacy policy generator, right? And this will work like for, hey, if you're selling something that is, is really controversial, meaning there's, it could be an aspect of life and death, right? In your lead, hopefully, I don't know if I've encountered a lead magnet that has a life and death situation to it, right? Or you're giving advice that could cause, maybe you need to talk to an attorney, right? But this is generally for most lead magnets, right? You're giving away something that's not extremely controversial. It's not heavily regulated, right? Then this should work. This is a blanket statement that should work for most markets. If you're in something, crypto or something that's heavily regulated, you may want to kind of talk to an attorney and see, hey, what should your privacy policy say? And remember, the privacy policy is not for your dream customer. It's more for protecting you, right, against litigation. So all you have to do is just put in your information and then click on send me my privacy policy. It'll be sent to you, and then you can copy that and literally come in and paste it into your privacy policy page. All right, so Jennifer has a question. I'm going to focus on one of my products for now, but would love to be able to go back and use the one-pager later. I wonder how I can download it without the content I've already typed into it and has been saved. A little tech help. Yeah, so like the one pager, first of all, printing it out is, I don't even know if it's printable. I've tried printing it out and it doesn't work really well. What you can do is you can delete. Remember, anything you type into the one pager, you can definitely delete it. And then what you can do is there's an app. It's a Chrome extension. It's called Go Full Page. Go Full Page. You can definitely, and this is what I tend to do. I'm still like old school. I use pen and paper, right? But you can go to Go Full Page. Go Full Page. I'll show you exactly how it works. So Go Full Page, and then what you do a screenshot of it, right? It'll literally capture it. It'll capture it into different versions. You can capture it as a PDF, as a PNG, meaning an image file. So it'll capture it in those different versions, right? And then you can just print it out. You can print it out in multiple versions. So this is let's say this is the one pager that I really want to use. Go Full Page looks like a camera once you install it, right? You can just Google Go Full Page. You click on it and it's like the Pac-Man, right? It captures it, and then once it captures it, you can you see it's literally the one pager, and then you can download it as a PDF, or you can download it as a PNG, and then now you can open it, and now you have your one pager, right? Now you have your one pager, and you can print it out. You can, especially if you're brainstorming and you want to write multiple versions. And I'm still a pen to paper kind of person, so I like to print out. Sometimes I like to print out stuff and just write it on the actual page. It gives me the clarity. Sometimes doing it electronically doesn't do anything for me. But that's the workaround. Use Go Full Page, capture it, and then once you capture it, you can definitely download it, and then you can print it out. Yeah, it's in Chrome. Yeah, it's just in Chrome. I don't know if I haven't experienced it in the other browsers. Maybe it is in Firefox or Safari. I use it in Chrome. Cool. So let's see if I covered everything. So we talked about the pages. Yeah, you're very welcome, Jennifer. So we talked about the pages. We talked about privacy policy, where to get privacy policy. Yeah, the graphics. So the graphics, like I said, use Canva. I love Canva. You could definitely also go to the Funnel Rolodex or Fiverr. You can hire someone on Fiverr, pay them like $5, you know, or you could just use Canva, right? And then yeah, and then as far as adding the images and deliverables, you know, and then tomorrow we're literally going to go over, we're going to be covering emails, right? So the first email you're going to be sending out will be the one that's delivering the lead magnet, right? And what I would do too, I would have like on the thank you page. So on the thank you page, this is what I would do, right? I would have a video, right? I would have a video of me just talking to them. And the reason why I would have a video on the thank you page is because you want that familiarity, right? You want them interacting with you so that you feel familiar. So that now when you start interacting with them, they can put a face, they can put a name, and now you're building that relationship. Remember, the whole purpose of lead magnets is not just to capture leads, because I know people who've captured leads, but they don't have a relationship with these leads, right? And where the real value is, it's not just having a huge list. You can even have a really small list, but it's so intimate in the sense of the relationship between you and them is so intimate that they feel like they know you. And how do you feel like when you just meet someone, right? Because on the first page, hey, you know, there's not too much interaction. It's just, hey, I'm making this promise. Give me a name and email. On the thank you page, use it to start building that relationship. Hey, congratulations. Thank you for joining our community. Welcome. I'm so happy you took this first step. Like almost like a family member, right? Who's at your front door. Welcome home. Thank you. We've been looking for you. You know, so a couple of things. The lead magnet's been sent to your email, so make sure you go check your email. If you don't find it in your inbox, it'll probably be in your spam folder. But make sure, once you get it, make sure you add me to your contacts so that you don't miss out on the emails. And then you can have a second ask. Usually have about three. 3 asks are not too bad. Hey, second thing, if you want to join our Facebook group, right? We go in there, we meet as a community. You can meet other. You know, hopefully you have a name for your community, right? You have the Funnel Hackers team, or you have whatever. Give your community a name. Come up with a name, right? And you can interact with the rest. It's on the Facebook group. And then the third thing is, you know, do this, that, and the third. So, like, use the thank you page not as a really transactional, here's the thing you want, get it, right? Use it too to build that relationship, right? And people feel it. They'll feel it. They'll feel like, wow, this person really does care, right? And when they feel it, it's not awkward later on when you say, hey, I have this thing for sale, you know, or I have this thing that will really help you get to the next level. It's not awkward, right? Because you've been building that relationship. So when did you download the templates from the one pager? Yeah, so use the one pager because the reason why you want if you use the templates on the one pager, they automatically come with the privacy policy page, right? So make sure you use the templates from the one pager. I can give you the link to the one pager, right? Or you can find them directly above today's video, right? Day 3. Just directly above the video, click on that. That will bring you to today's one pager. And then once you come in and you click on any one of these templates, right? It'll upload the templates to your ClickFunnels account. I have 2 accounts, but it'll upload to your ClickFunnels account. You'll notice it won't take even more than 3 minutes, right? There's a progress bar. And then once it uploads to your ClickFunnels account, right? Click on View Funnel. And then once you click on View Funnel, it'll have all the 3 pages: the squeeze page, the thank you page, and the privacy policy page. So make sure you download them from the one pager. All right, I think I've covered everything. Is there anything that I should have covered that you believe I'm missing, or anything that you believe I should have addressed? Oh, Mike, welcome. We have Mike Mukesh. Welcome, Mukesh. Tamara was here. So is there anything that I should have covered that I may have missed? No? Okay. Is everyone clear on what needs to be done? Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Yeah, go ahead. Wade has a couple of questions. Go ahead. You can unmute too. Wade, you have a question? Let me see. There you go. You can talk now. You have the mic.
Got it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you, Wade?
I'm doing well, thank you. My questions are slightly off the topic. In terms of delivering, I'm giving my clients a course, classes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll probably deliver them in the membership section.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay? Does it make sense? What are the pros and cons of kind of delaying access to each class like a week out, a week at a time,
Like using a drip kind of program?
as opposed to it's 12 classes as opposed to making them all available all at once, making them available one per week over 12 weeks?
I think it'll depend with your market, but yeah, I think what happens with drip programs, it kind of doesn't overwhelm them, right?
Hmm.
So there's a tendency of a higher completion rate, right? Because you're not bombarding them with the entire 12 weeks, and some people just like to do it in stages, right? They like to consume in stages. And then you have those other people, so it'll totally depend. You have the other people who they want to see the bigger picture. They want to see the entire course, but I think it just depends with how you market it, right? And as long as you give them a compelling reason as to why are you dripping it over time, right? So that when they come in, they have that expectation of, okay, it's being dripped out, and the reason why it's being dripped out is because it's each one of those classes is pretty complex, and you would prefer they take it one step at a time, and each class builds upon the next one. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I was wondering.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's not a pro and cons kind of thing. It just it I would say it depends mostly on your market and how they want to consume. Remember, like when you're designing, anytime you're designing a course, you're designing classes, the first thing to think about is your dream customer, the person who's making the purchase, right?
Hmm.
How do they consume? What is their behavior? Because the other thing is sometimes we don't think about their behavior, their current behavior, and we're asking them to do something that's contrary to their current behavior. What is the likelihood that they'll even commit if it's going against their current behavior, right? So behavioral design is really important when it comes to course design, right? Think about how do they consume. Do they like long videos, or would they rather consume in bits, right? Do they need complex aspects, or can you break it down and make it simple? What is the best time to release these videos? Are they morning people? Are they evening people? What is the best time to drip them out? So all those things like come into consideration, and those all collectively, I would say, add up to what we call user experience, right? And remember, the sale doesn't end after they give you the credit card and they pay, right? The sale is always continuing. You still have to sell them on completing the course. You still have to sell them on the value. You still have to sell them on getting the result, right? So sales is a continuous process. You're still selling. You still have to sell them the reason why they need to sign up for your next process, right? So it's always a sales process, and it's not per se the hardcore selling where give me money, like it's almost like a stick up. Give me money, I give you the tools, right? But it's more like, hey, having their best interests and seeing how you can serve them so that they can get to the result that they desire.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Awesome. Any other questions? The floor is open. So I think I covered everything for today's session as far as like what at least you need to know and how to move forward. And then now if you have any questions, I think I saw some questions on domains. I think Renata had a question on domains still here. Are you still here, Renata? You can unmute. Did you tackle it? The question on domains?
Hi, sorry. My Zoom just crashed the minute you said my name, and I was yes, I typed a question regarding domain. I just wanted, of course, to set up my own domain to replace the clickfunnels.com. But I found where it is.
Okay.
I'm struggling a little bit because I want to set up a subdomain, and I have some very specific doubts here. I'm working on my host and see if I can figure it out by myself. Otherwise, I'll just post on the channel later.
Okay. What questions do you have about the subdomain?
Yeah. So I'm right now on the clock. Let me just close some windows. I'm on the ClickFunnels page on the My Domains page.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm adding my domain there, but then I realized that I cannot add my own domain there because there's already another website hosted under that address, and
Right.
I want to host with. So actually, I can double check with you because I want to host, for example, as let's say my new program. Just an example, right? So you have there onlinematchcoach.com. So that is your domain. So my question for you, are you hosting your website with this address on ClickFunnels?
Yeah, so once you bring in a domain, like there's no hosting, we do the hosting. ClickFunnels takes care of the
Okay,
hosting.
so that's not going to be my case. So my website is external, but I want to host the landing page there. Which means that the domain I'm going to add there is going to be a subdomain. For example, my new program.onlinemathcoach.com.
Right.
So then I'm just going to add the subdomain and set up my DNS and see if that works.
Right. So you would where's your main domain? Where's the registrar? Where is it hosted?
Two different places. So my domain is registered on Microsoft, and website is hosted in a company that is hosting it, and it's hosted on WordPress.
Okay, no problem. So your DNS records are with where are your DNS records?
Yeah, so my DNS records are with Microsoft.
Okay, so you would go to where your DNS records are, right? And you would add a CNAME. Yeah, and then you would create that subdomain, and then make sure it's pointing to target.clickfunnels.com.
Yes, I am on my website host as well, creating the redirection right now, and I was hoping that would work. I'm actually doing this right now, just like create the subdomain instead, and then make the right redirections, and hopefully that should work. If it doesn't,
that should do it.
on the message. And also, since we're here, so I'm gonna have a subdomain for each one of my funnels and launches, because like I said, I have the main website that is not the landing page.
Right.
At least this is how I'm gonna do for now. I'm not gonna create a domain for the funnels, at least for now. I'm gonna use subdomains. So I was gonna ask if I could add like as many domains as I wanted, but then I found this page, so I have my answer. And I was gonna ask if we can have different accounts inside the same, as in different businesses inside the same ClickFunnels, just to be organized. As in, like I have two startups, so I have two niches. One is travel, one is fitness. And then should I create the whole thing just there, because it feels a little bit not organized for me, or if we go to the top right of the app, I see that there is, like, when you click on your name, and then there's personal account just under admin. Oh yeah, there. So you have personal account and you have leave. Can we?
Yeah, this is internal. So I mean, if you're running two separate entities, And again, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not a CPA, but if you're running two, you could if you're just creating just funnels for the two different entities, you don't really need a different account. But if it's for taxation purposes, and again, I'm not giving you advice as a CPA, definitely consult your CPA or your tax attorney. I would probably create a secondary account simply because of expenses and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, it was more just for organizations of the templates and pages and domains, and it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the easier thing to do is just create. Yeah, you can create what are called categories within funnels. You can definitely place.
All right.
Yeah, so let's say this is the first. Let's say this is the first one. You can go to settings, and then you can group them. You can do what is called a group tag, and say, hey, this is for. So instead of shared funnels, you can put a group tag and say this is Lead
Fitness. Yeah.
Karaoke LLC, right? And that's a group tag, right? And then make sure you come down here and save. So that way, every funnel that's created that's you know, for the business Lead Karaoke LLC, and this is just an example, it'll have that group tag, and then you can group funnels together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So there where you saw personal account that it shows your name, it's not possible to add different accounts.
Yeah, no, that's internal. Yeah, that's internal. Okay. You could have sub users, but that's more for ClickFunnels internal. It's not external.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right. So let's see. Mackenzie's here. Hey, Mackenzie, how are you? And by the way, let me check Facebook if there's questions on Facebook side. Basil is here. Hey, Basil. Oh, that was 56 minutes ago. I hope you're still here, Basil. If you are, I see you. Go ahead, type in your question. I'm definitely monitoring both. Definitely monitoring both platforms. So you could type in your question, Basil, or if you prefer to come into Zoom, remember the link is right above Zoom. Right above the video, you can click on it, or even in the comments, the first comment, the link is there. So let's see, Mackenzie, welcome. You have a question? It's probably faster just to speak than to read the entire. So you can definitely unmute, Mackenzie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Mackenzie. Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you? Yeah, so
I'm great.
I have a question, but my internet keeps cutting out, so I'm hoping it doesn't do that in this. But yeah, so I work for a doctor that specializes in helping patients with neuropathy. It's a pretty high ticket program, and we have a sales.
Nerve pain?
Yes, so we have a sales funnel that works. It's in office though, so I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of bring this online into a ClickFunnels. So typically our lead magnet would be a free 30-minute seminar, which is in the office, and that leads to exam testing consultations and getting them into help with the doctor. So I was wondering if a 30-minute webinar would be too much for a lead magnet, like too long, not quick enough, or if something smaller and faster would be a better option for that initial lead magnet.
Yeah, that's a great question. So for the lead magnet, I would probably splinter out what is the heart of that third, like what is the key thing, and how does that match the journey of this person who all of a sudden now has this nerve pain and it's really hurting them, that they're really looking for solutions, right? And give them something that will give them that quick fix, and that will get them now to take the next step. So remember, what we're really doing by using these lead magnets, we're breaking down huge commitments, because a lot of times people find it really hard to make a huge commitment. But if you were to break down that huge commitment, and what is a huge commitment? Asking someone to give you, let's say, to commit that they're going to watch 30 minutes. They have to find the time, right? To come and watch the 30-minute video. They have to probably find the location. They probably couldn't watch it, maybe going to the store. They have to find a place where they can give their attention to this 30-minute video. And what is the likelihood, especially if they still don't know you, right? But the way to actually hedge against that is to kind of give them a micro commitment that they could say yes to, and then get them with the next micro commitment and the next micro commitment. And then by the time they've been in compliance, right? Mentally, now it's easier for them to commit to actually watch the 30-minute video. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does.
Yeah. So I would probably address what is their biggest, like if you were to map out this journey, I call it the customer journey, right? Map out the customer journey. They're in their health state right now, and they're trying to go to the heaven state. And heaven to them, what does heaven look like? They're pain-free. They could walk. They don't have to be on all these painkillers, right? They're not addicted to pain medication, and they're pretty much living their life, their best life, and where they are now, right? What are some of the things that they're experiencing right now? And then from their health state, you start mapping out what is the first thing that you can give them that will kind of give them the momentum, feeling like, oh, they're headed towards the right direction. Right? What are some of the myths that they've had around this pain? Right? So those are great lead magnets. You see what I mean? Like, the 3 myths about neuropathy or the pain or whatever, the 3 things that you need to do. Or the 3 medications that are really making things worse that everyone thinks are actually making things better. So come up with the conversation that they're currently having. And that's usually just to get them to raise their hand, and then get them closer and closer to what's the next step, right? Next step is probably, now they've given you, they've committed, they've made a micro commitment, they've given you their name and email, right? They've consumed this lead magnet. Now, what's the next thing they can commit to? And you can keep on adding those commitments, right? And eventually now they'll comply, because it makes sense, and it's really designed to mimic how the brain makes decisions, right? So at first, remember what we have: the crocodile brain that's probably overwhelming. We're looking, is this a threat? And what is a threat? A threat is anything that is going to have to force them to use up energy when they still don't have context. You see what I mean? So design based on, okay, what's going to be least threatful in their mind, and it's going to give them the highest value, and at the same time, it's a micro commitment. Does that make sense?
Yes, that does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, fantastic. So any other questions? Any other questions? We still have we have about an hour to go. So there's still room for questions. Angie, Cliff, John, how are you doing? Mackenzie, we just talked. Michelle, Mike, Renata, Suzanne, Tamara, and Wade. Any questions? Feel free. You can unmute at this time.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to just build an email list for a book launch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know what lead magnet or what would even be a good lead magnet for building an email list for a pre-launch. Do you have any ideas?
Yeah. So the first thing is what is the book about, and who are you expecting? Like who is your ideal? Who are you targeting? Who's going to be your reader?
It's a self-help memoir. It's called Happy or Die, and it addresses overcoming suicidal thoughts and depression from adversity. So it's targeted really towards anybody who's gone through anything that I've gone through, which is a buttload, excuse my language, but just gone through a lot of things. So, I mean, just Cliff Notes version, my son passed away, our house foreclosed, $100,000 of debt, 2 failed businesses, assaults, my car was stolen, went to jail in London, came home, third husband bankrupted me. So just a lot of different things it
Right.
applies to a lot of people. So it's like overcoming adversity kind of thing. Um,
That's a lot of lead magnets.
there's so many, and I just don't even know
Yeah.
how to
Which one to
choose.
start with? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would start with the one that's most compelling based on your experience, that will identify with your dream reader, right? And what you can do is you can say, it's a hook. Just start with the hook. The time when I was able to overcome this experience or this scenario, right? And then you give them a glimpse. It could be just a chapter, it could be the hook, and then you tell them, hey, make sure you sign up so that when the book is ready, right? And you could even have like book parties, right? Or even like pre-book parties where it's the Zoom call. You invite these, hey, would you like to read more? You give them a little glimpse of what the experience you went through, and then say, hey, I'm building a list, and every week before the book actually launches, we'll be meeting, and you'll be part of this book. There's nothing that is fantastic as creating rather than just putting out a book, create an event out of it, right? So you could say, hey, every week we're going to be meeting, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that are actually literally going to be in the book. And I'm going to share some of my stories and my experiences and what I had to overcome, right? And this is all part of a pre-launch, so that by the time the book is ready, you already have buyers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So create an event out of the book. Every week have a book launch party where
Right.
you invite people into a deeper glance of the book. And
Right,
then,
and you can give them a hook. You can, let's say, so this is how I would do it, right? And this is actually, if you look at how Russell does book launches, there's a huge lesson in it. So before Russell actually puts out a book, the first thing he'll do is do the research, find out, hey, where's everyone, where's the gap, right? Once he finds out the gap, he'll write the book, but then he won't just say, hey, the book is ready, go buy it. Guess what he'll do? He'll have these launches, mini launches, right? And it's in a live audience, and he'll invite a couple of people. Hey, come in and let's talk about this part, and let's talk. So you could literally divide your book into chapters, and each chapter has a hook. This hook is probably a lead magnet, and you could say, hey, we're doing chapter 1, the lead magnet. We're going to talk about the time when X, Y happened and how I was able to overcome it, right? Give me your name and email to come to a launch party, a launch event, right? And you don't give them the entire story because you want them to come to the event. And then at the event, you give them that first chapter, and you're recording this, by the way, right? And and this is how you turn like a simple launch party into multiple products, because now the people who are at this launch party will probably be the people who are going to buy the book, and the people who buy the book eventually, who didn't come to these launch parties, are probably going to buy the videos, and you can charge the videos at a higher price. You see what I mean?
yeah. So the lead magnet, there's so many pieces in my head that I am trying to organize, as I'm sure everybody is. So are you saying the lead magnet would be the event itself? Because because just like the last guy was talking, like, is that too big of an ask
Yeah. So
where they
what you
don't
would
know
do,
me?
right? Yeah. So what you would do is because the only reason they would do it or come is because they're seeing value, because of the relevancy. It's relevant to something very specific that they're dealing with, and that's why you wouldn't probably tell them the entire book. You would start with a very specific section that's dealing with something that your dream customer is having or experiencing right now that you went through, right? And that's the specificity part. So you could have a live event. I was just giving you an example. Or you could say, hey, I'm splintering and I'm giving you this chapter so that you can literally get to see some of the experience that I went through. But then since they're part of your email list, when the book is ready, they'll be the first ones to know, right? So that's one way of doing it. The way I was thinking of, hey, do one very specific event, right? I would probably, what I would do, I would outline the entire book into the different parts that are going to go into the book, the chapters. Each chapter is addressing something very specific, an experience that you experienced that you overcame that your dream customer is probably going through. And then what I would do is I would start with the lead magnet and say, hey, I'm going through chapter 1 of my book. I haven't written it, but I wanted to make sure I don't miss out anything. And this chapter is really talking about the aspect of suicide, right? Suicide, and what are the factors that come to suicide. The one thing that drives people to suicide, and most people can't even pick up on it. So I'll be doing a live event, or I'll be doing it's literally 1 page. This is my biggest lesson that I learned when I had to overcome that feeling, and you put it into a lead magnet. And then what you can do is you can say, hey, I'm also having, so on the thank you page, you can say, I emailed you the one thing that I learned as I overcame it. But even better, I'm going to do a live event where I'd like to just have a discussion, have a conversation, with what is everyone going through? What are you feeling? And I would like to actually document that, because I believe that will give the most value to the largest number of people, and it'll help me not miss out on anything. Does that make sense?
So the lead magnet would be the feeling that I had, the way I overcame it, and then
Right.
after the delivery of the lead magnet, I would invite them to this discussion. Is that
Right.
what? So that's part
Yeah.
of the value ladder.
Yeah, and that's how you build a book. You're building a community around a book, right? Because the biggest challenge with a lot of authors is that they'll write the book and then they'll go out and start looking for an audience, right? And then it
Yes.
becomes really hard. But if you build an audience around the book as you're writing the book, now you're building your tribe, right? And these are
Right.
the people who are going to come along with your book. They're going to be your evangelists. They're the ones who are literally going to be promoting the book for you, right? And that's a better way to actually launch a book than to just sit down and write the entire book and then try and look for people to buy.
Right.
Yeah. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. And then where I I'm halfway through my book, like second draft, but still so far from finishing. So there's plenty of time to kind of simultaneously do this. Would you say to do this, if there's 19 chapters, do you do this for every chapter?
I would probably just pick the ones that you find are most resonant with your dream customer, right? And then when you're having those conversations, because what you're really doing is you're validating the book by having these live events. So you can start with the one that will get them the biggest challenge, and then every week, just do, as you progress, you kind of check in with your audience, with your list. Let them know, hey, this is where I'm at with the book. I'm having a live discussion, a round table, right? And I would like you to come in and see the process. And also share some of your stories, because I would like to hear your stories. They'll give me the inspiration, or even the better the right tools on how to actually package that sensation and that experience in a way that I can articulate it to my dream customers. Does that make sense?
So I would be asking them for their stories. I wouldn't be telling them my story.
Yeah, you would make it a discussion. Get them
Okay.
involved too. Yeah. So the best authors, usually what they'll do is they'll tell their stories, but their stories evoke an emotion in their readers, right? And so
Mhm.
what you want to do is, because a lot of times, and what makes a story interesting, like if you really think about it, what really makes a story interesting is the ability of the audience to see themselves through this story,
Mhm.
right? And so when you're writing this story, your audience they absolutely have to suspend their current identity and get into the identity of the person. And part of it, the best way to do it, the way you can do that, is by picking bits and pieces of your dream customer, so that when they read it, it's almost like it's a perfect fit, and you're dropping those breadcrumbs so that they can literally see themselves in the story. They're in the story. That's why we love movies. When we're watching a movie, we are in the movie, right? We're
Mhm.
being moved, right? We're literally acting. We're suspending our own identity and getting into the identity of the story. So that's and that part is really hard, right? Especially if you're just doing it on your own. Sometimes it could be a hit, or sometimes it could be a miss. But the way to make sure it's a hit is, before you do it, you actually literally get all these perspectives of people who are probably about to get into that situation, or have been through that situation, and they're giving you their perspectives, and now you can write a very, very encapsulated story. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one last question. Thanks for all of the time on this. Would I do like one funnel? So if, let's say I have 5 topics.
Right.
Would I do one funnel at a time, or would I do them simultaneously side by side? Or would I
Right.
do one and then take it down and do another, etc.?
I would do them. I would do one at a time, right? One at a time. And the reason why I would do it one at a time is so that the first one you really get to nail down the process. You understand, okay, how do people come in? What's that journey like? They come in, give me their names and emails. How do I set up the event? Call it an event or a little round table where we discuss how do we get people to feel vulnerable and comfortable within this event, even though I haven't really met these people, but we're all together because we are being united by a common experience, right? And so you get people to share their experiences. What are some of the words that will get them feeling comfortable? It's a safe space. It's a Zoom. Yeah, it's safe. And to record it and get their consent. So all these things. And then once you do it the first time, now it becomes easier for you to do it the remaining 4 times. Does
I
that make
love that.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That was so helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Michelle. Great question. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Storytelling, I really love. Actually, in the One Funnel Away challenge, we really dive into storytelling on day 18. And I'll tell you this, right? Like even for your business, for like even if you're not writing a book, right? For your business, the thing that will separate you the most, especially when you have stiff competition, you're going against like some serious contenders. The thing that will really give you an edge is the story. How you tell your story, how you understand your dream customer, how for them it's not just a product, it's an experience. They can see themselves, they can lose the identity of why they're not getting the result, and they can step into the identity of someone who's capable of getting the result. And that transformation, because if we're really selling, we're not selling products, we're selling transformations. We're selling them a better version of themselves, right? And the way we can do that eloquently is by telling a great story. We really dive into that aspect of story in the One Funnel Away challenge on day 18. But yeah, it's just giving you some of the things you can do and how you can move forward. All right, Cliff, John, Mike, any questions? Susan, Wade, any questions? Everyone is good? Everyone is good as far as today? I am good. Mike is good. Cliff, how you doing? John? I think John said he was good. No questions. Do we have lifetime access to? Yeah, once you purchase Funnel Scripts, you do get lifetime access. Once you get Funnel Scripts, it's lifetime access. And the updates, right? So I know Jim does some updates. He constantly is adding some updates, some new scripts. So you do get not only lifetime access, but you also get the updates. Yeah. Awesome. So, Suzanne, any questions before we wrap up? Hopefully you enjoyed today's session and you got some clarity from it. If you did, the only thing I request is if you could go to bit.ly, right? bit.ly /feedback for Lee. I'll put the link in the comments. And literally what will happen is once you get to that page, it'll bring you to this page called Gather Kudos, right? It's the page where we have our feedback. And my request is, because it helps me become a better coach, but even more important, it helps me add better context as far as coaching so that I can make it more of a difference, right? So just go to Trustpilot, click on review us on Trustpilot, and then just share, hey, what was your aha moment? What did you enjoy about today's session? Pick any stars, doesn't really matter. And then just share your aha moment, right? Hey, I was on Lee's session today on, what were we covering today? Lead funnels. And the one nugget I enjoyed, or the one thing that made a difference or got me excited was this. That would really, really help me out, right? If you could do that, thank you very, very much. And that, I want to thank everyone that came on today's session. Wade, Susan, Renata, John, Cliff, Tamara, who was here earlier, Michelle, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And if we don't get to talk, remember, you can always join us on the One Funnel Away Challenge, right? Where we go deeper into your first paid product, right? So right now, it's all about just building that list, but then we'll transition into your first paid product in the One Funnel Away, right? So if you'd like to join us, yeah, you can absolutely come in and join us at the One Funnel Away Challenge. But other than that, it's always awesome having these sessions and serving you. I can't wait to see what you build and how you build your business and who you get to serve. Remember, there's it's taking that responsibility of serving, right? That will make a whole difference. Will make a difference to the people you serve and giving them the courage to become who they need to be. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk soon. Bye.